2 years ago, Francois Hollande looked like this. His derisive nickname Flamby, pudding, caused laughter across France. Today, Francois Hollande is 15 kilos lighter and comes across as dynamic and feisty.
Il n'a pas de nom.
In France, the popular opinion is that such a transformation has to be due to a
Il
woman.
ne présentera jamais sa candidature.
In the case of Francois Hollande, she is Valerie Trierweiler, a seasoned political journalist.
At the start of the campaign, I told him, "You have to know if you're the best." His answer was, "Yes, I am the best." It was the first time I'd heard that kind of thing from him.
With an attractive journalist at his side, Hollande was able to compete with Nicolas Sarkozy's constant media presence. Even the glamour factor of Sarkozy's wife, former model Carla Bruni, couldn't save his campaign. Valérie comes from a less privileged background than Carla. Her father was disabled in World War II and her mother worked as a cashier. Valérie became the host of political talk shows on commercial television. She's known as a tough journalist, but the role of the Première Dame requires other qualities. On election night, she seemed hesitant.
It's going so fast, there's so much turbulence. I need a few days to process it all.
And how does she see her future role?
I'll need some time to think about it.
She's giving longer interviews only to select journalists. Among the chosen few are Constance Vergara, a former colleague. She says Valerie Trierweiler wants to keep working and doesn't want to be dependent on a man, not even Francois Hollande.
She's a woman who has the same concerns as everyone else in France. She wants to keep working to earn money to support her 3 adolescent children. Francois Hollande is not the father of her children, and she doesn't want them living at the expense of the state. She knows the value of money, and she has never profited from any privilege.
The new Première Dame also does not want to live in the Elysée Palace, cut off from the outside world, with bodyguards everywhere and always according to protocol. Valérie would rather live here in her Paris apartment. But life there isn't normal anymore either. 2 plainclothes policemen are posted outside. One of them approaches us after a few minutes and tells us he has strict instructions not to let us film. Despite the police presence, people in the area are proud to have such famous neighbors, though some find that Hollande's partner is very different from him.
She's much more reserved. After he was elected, Monsieur Hollande came and shook our hands, but she stayed outside. You can tell she doesn't want to have too much to do with his being president.
A few streets away in this courtyard, a well-known journalist and author has his office. Serge Raffi wrote a 500-page biography about Francois Hollande, but he never got close to Valerie Trierweiler.
If you ask her where she graduated from school when she was 17, she threatens you with a lawsuit instead of answering a simple question. She writes that you're a bad journalist and you don't do your work properly. She's very aggressive, very violent, and I would say she's very paranoid.
The French want to learn more about their new Première Dame, and some resent her efforts to avoid the limelight.
What does that even mean, a normal life? When you're head of state, or the wife of the head of state, then life isn't normal anymore.
And some would have preferred to have Hollande's ex-partner Ségolène Royal as Première Dame.
I don't really know who this Trierweiler is, but Ségolène Royal, we know her well.
With 4 children and a partnership lasting more than 30 years, Ségolène Royal and Francois Hollande were the political power couple for the left in France. 5 years ago, Ségolène Royal herself ran for president and recently supported her ex-husband in his campaign, even when he somewhat brusquely shoved her to the sidelines.
C'est un mélange de Jeanne d'Arc
For the French, Ségolène is a mixture of Joan of Arc and Margaret Thatcher, and she's very popular. And in the subconscious of the French, that couple, Francois Hollande and Ségolène Royal, still exists somehow. So we're experiencing an unbelievable situation that never existed before, namely a sort of love triangle between Hollande, Royal, and Valerie Trierweiler.
So a swift smooch for Ségolène Royal, an obvious devotion for his beloved Valerie Trierweiler. That was Hollande's way of making things clear on election night.
Toujours dans l'élévation et l'ouverture.
He and Trierweiler are the first unmarried French presidential couple. Hollande is familiar with the protocol, but Trierweiler, it seems, still has to find her place on the public stage.